Hello and welcome back. I'm Ben Silk here on Ben Silk Sports, and joining me today is,
Kevin Dillay.
And Jonas Murray, all even tapping in.
and we will be predicting the upcoming NBA season, and we're gonna get started off. Let's get started off, and we'll get started at the bottom with the East. Who do you see coming getting the 15 seed this year?
My prediction is the Nets. I think they lost so many players, and they're going to be the 15th seed in the East this upcoming year.
And Jonas.
Well, that was a little disrespectful to me because I'm a Nets fan. But honestly, the 15th spot, I'll have to say the Wizards.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie. I think the Wizards are still a young team. They're still developing. A lot of guys don't have a lot of experience, but I'm gonna have to say the Wizards. They're still developing. So I think, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think the Wizards, they got a lot to figure out, and I just think they get that 15 seed for sure. But now on to the 14th seed. I'll go first. I'll start it off here. I think it's going to be the Nets. The Nets have a lot to figure out, and yeah, I don't think it's going to be a good year for the Nets, so they come in the 14th seed.
My 14th seed is the Hornets. I like some of their players. I like Brandon Miller. Obviously, I love LaMelo Ball. But it's a matter of fact of whether the team can stay healthy. Especially LaMelo, they're all-star caliber player who has that ability to be an all-star year in and year out. But it's a matter of fact of can this team stay healthy? And I don't think they can. But they do have some key players, so I wouldn't be surprised if they have a decent season. I really like Miles Bridges. He had an amazing season last year. And yeah, that's going to be my 14th seed.
14th, definitely agree with Kevin. Hornets. Like I said, LaMelo's obviously an all-star caliber player. Like I said, it's still a young team. Still have to it's still got guys who could definitely improve. So I would have to say Hornets.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna say for the 13th seed Hornets, as they basically covered it. They just got a lot to improve on.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say.
Well, 13th, I'm gonna say the Nets, my team. We're still in the rebuilding process after the Kyrie, Kevin Durant era. So right now, we have Cameron Thomas, which I really feel like he's so underrated. Guy can score from anywhere, play make. I really do feel like people don't give a lot of attention to him. So I think this season, definitely be on the lookout for him. Obviously, the Nets did get Michael Porter Jr., which is a really good defensively and offense because he can do both, which I do like. But like I said, we're a young team. We still have a lot of key players, or just young players. And like I said, we just have to develop. So I'm going to say the Nets at definitely at 13.
You want me to go? Okay, I'm going to say the Wizards. I like some of their players, but they have so many young players. They constantly have these top draft picks, but yet they keep struggling. But I think they get some wins compared to last year. I think they're going to get a lot more improvement. Alex Sarr, the rookie from a year ago, I think he has a decent year this year. And I think the Wizards are going to be a little bit underrated this season. Not the crazy, they're going to make the play-in, but I think they're going to have a better year than they did last year.
All right. Well, now let's move on to the 12th seed, and I'll start this off with a bang. I think without Halliburton, it's going to be a rough year for the Pacers, and I see them falling to the 12th seed here. I just think it's going to be a rough year overall. They do have Siakam, but that's basically all they have. They do have a good, well-rounded team, but you saw Siakam, the main player on the Raptors. The Raptors were not a great team. I think it's going to be a rough year for the Pacers. Kevin, what are your thoughts?
My 12th seed is going to be the Raptors. Obviously, I think they also have a lot of young players, and I like R.J. Barrett, who came from the Knicks. Some other notable players, Grady Dick, he's a developing player. He was a rookie a few years ago, so he's getting better. And then I like some of their players. I think they definitely are improving.
I would say 12, right? 12 seed?
Yep.
I would say for the 12, I probably would put Pacers too, like Ben. Because obviously last season in the finals, Pacers, nobody was expecting the Pacers to make it all the way to the NBA Finals. But I think it definitely showed the chemistry they had because basketball is chemistry. Like you can know plays, like know things, but you have to have chemistry to win championships. So I feel like Pacers they did a very good job in that with Tyrese being the leader, but now since he's out, I feel like it's gonna definitely be a little error in that, and like I said, some people might have to step up. So, we're gonna definitely see how they look, but I definitely see them at 12.
Yeah, so now let's move on to the 11 seed. And for the 11 seed, I'm going to go with the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors, they're still figuring it out, but they got some great players on that squad, including a couple of former Knicks. And, of course, they have Grady Dick, who is a young player, as Kevin was saying before, and he's just getting better and better, and he may be a good player someday, but they're just a young team as well. I feel like they do have some good players, and they do have potential, but I do not see them making the play-in still. So I have the Raptors at 11.
I have the Pacers at the 11th seed, like they already touched upon. No Tyrese Halliburton for this upcoming year. Obviously, that's their best player. But another notable name they lost in the offseason was Miles Turner, who was the center for the Pacers for years upon years. And that was arguably one of their best players in that playoff run. So losing those two guys for the season, one being traded to the Bucks and Tyrese out with an injury, I don't think the Pacers are going to have nearly the season we saw last year. And I don't think they're going to even make the play.
At my 11th seed, I actually have, which is, I'm surprised I didn't say it in the beginning of the video, but I have the Bulls at the 11th seed. Like I said, a lot of young guys. They obviously lost in the last couple years. I know they had Zach LaVine on there on the Bulls on the time, but now when I'm looking at this roster, I'm like, who really is really gonna step up for that team? Or just as a team in general, a lot of young guys. Some guys don't have, like I said, a lot of experience in the NBA or not even maybe playoffs. So I really see the Bulls being at the 11th spot. They got Kobe White, Josh Giddey, Nikola Vucevic, key players in that team. But like I said, I feel like they're gonna be in that 11th spot. Still got some figuring out to do.
All right, so now we head into the play-in part of the seeding, as I'll get started off here. I think the 10 seed, they may improve a bit this year, but it's going to be a tough road for them, and I think the 76ers are going to wind up with the 10th seed here, and Breed coming back, but we'll see how good they're actually going to play. It's going to take a bit for them to rebound, and he could possibly get injured once again. It's going to be an interesting season. A lot of question marks for the 76ers team. I think they could be as low as a 14 or 15 seed, or as high as top 5 seed. We'll see, but I think they do make the play-in, but that will be all for the 76ers this year. Kevin, we got 10.
My 10th seed is going to be the Hawks. I like some of the offseason moves they made. I like the addition of Porzingis getting added to the Hawks. I also like Dyson Daniels. He's a good role player for them. Jalen Johnson, obviously a good guard. Obviously Trae Young. But it's a matter of if this team can stay healthy, and that's why I have them at the 10th seed. I think they're going to deal with some injuries this upcoming year, and they're going to have to face some adversity, but they do get in the play-in, so not a terrible season for the Hawks.
Did I say Raptors already?
You did.
I did say Raptors. Okay. Well, I think in that 10th spot, I'm gonna put the Heat. Honestly, the Heat. Like I said, even them too. The Heat. Obviously, the Heat. Last couple years, they have been in the playoffs. Had Jimmy Butler. Obviously, he went to the Warriors. But always the Heat. Even in the regular season, they may not do well, but they always make a way in the playoffs. And they, like I said, sometimes they even get as far. So honestly, I'm even looking at the roster right now. A lot of young guys still, but Tyler Hero, very key player. Obviously, off-ball shooter, get to any spot. Bam Adebayo, good on pick and roll, blocking, and definitely key player. And outside of that, I think, like I said, still a lot of young guys, and they definitely have potential, so I put them at 10.
All Alright, well, now let's move on to the 9th spot. And who I got here is the Bulls. And the Bulls do have some potential. They got a solid team, including Josh Giddey and Cody White. That should be a good team this year, but I don't think they're going to be amazing. I put them in a play-in spot, as they usually wind up being. I'll give them the 9th seed here.
Yeah, I'm gonna also say the Bulls get the 9th seed. I like Josh Giddey. I think him coming from OKC, he's gotten like better as a starting quality guard. Like he's really good. I remember last season he hit that half court shot again. I believe against the Lakers. I'm not sure what it was, but man, Josh Giddey has improved so much. And I like Kobe White too. Two players I could see having a really good year. Yeah, the Bulls is just a solid team, and I think they meet the plan.
Number 9, I have Sixers. Sixers, you know, last couple was main thing with Sixers is they can stay healthy, because Sixers really, honestly, the people they have, the Sixers got a lot of all-stars. Obviously, Joel Embiid winning the MVP like 2 years ago, right? 2 years ago. And obviously him is, you know, can he stay healthy? I think that's the main question for Sixers fans. Because one thing about it is Joel Embiid, you know, definitely one of the best big men to ever shoot the ball, in my opinion, that I have seen defend. But the main thing when playoffs are even in the regular season is he can stay healthy, because he's the leader of that team. So if your leader is not on the floor, sometimes the team doesn't succeed. I think, you know, obviously with Tyrese, all-star, Tyrese Maxey, can get anywhere on the floor, definitely good pass. Pass is good. It makes plays for other people, so even him. And I really like their rookie, VJ. What do you guys think about him?
Yeah.
What do you guys, VJ?
I think he's very good. VJ Edgecombe has a lot of potential, and you saw that upside in going into college. I remember watching him at Baylor. A quality player in the March Madness run Baylor had. So VJ Edgecombe, the rookie.
Yeah, like I said, I like him. And like I said, they have a lot of potential. Jared McCain. So I think, like I said, I'll put them at number 9.
Alright, now that's number 9. We're on to number 8. And number 8, I got the Miami Heat. Yes, they're a solid team. I'll talk a little bit more about yes, they don't have Jimmy Butler anymore, but they're still a team that can win games. They have Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, and they have Andrew Wiggins as well in that squad. And this is a team that they do have still the players to maybe make a playoff push, maybe even go on a run. We'll see. But I think, the Heat, I do see making the play and getting the 8th seed.
I'm going to say for this 8th seed, I'm going to take the Sixers. Like Jonas was saying, Jared McCain, he was a good rookie, but he got injured last year, and I think he's injured coming into the year. I like VJ Edgecombe, Joel Embiid, you know what he can bring to the team when he's healthy. Tyrese Maxey, an incredible player, but it's a matter of can they stay healthy, and I have them at the 8th seed just because that question mark with their health is always going to be a concern for us fans, because the 76ers have potential to be a really good team. It's just can they stay healthy? And
Number 8. Number 8.
Yeah.
So number 8, I'm gonna put the Bucks there.
Really? Okay.
Obviously the Giannis situation. Obviously I know he's still on the team, but a lot of things talking about trading him or his trade value. And one thing about it, Giannis has always been obviously loyal to the Bucks, but if they trade him, I don't know. I don't know where I see this team at, because that's, like I said, goes back to being a leader. You know, he's the leader of the team. So even looking at the roster, a lot of role players, guys who have experience. So, you know, I think if they definitely play obviously team basketball chemistry, they could definitely be a top team in the East. But I'm gonna put them at number 8. I'm gonna put the Bucks.
We're on to the 7th seed. I'll start us off here. I have the Magic at the 7th seed. I really like Paulo Banchero. He's constantly been just a quality player. Came back last year from his injury, had a great year. And then a notable guy to watch out for, Franz Wagner, or Wagner, I don't know how you pronounce his last name, I think it's Wagner.
Yeah.
But he was a really, really good player for the Magic last year. And this team is probably, if not one of the best defensive team in the NBA. They bring some crazy defensive packages for these opposing teams. And I have them on just the brink of the play-in. I mean, not the brink, like going into getting an actual spot. That's how good of a team I think they have the potential to be.
Yeah, well, for my 7th seed, I have the Boston Celtics, and yeah, it's gonna be a rough year for us without Jason Tatum. But we could get Jason Tatum back in the playoffs. I think we could possibly go into one playoff predictions. Will be later in this video, but just looking at this East, like I think there's 6 better teams right now. Jaylen Brown, we'll see how good he does. I think he's gonna do good, but I think, yeah, the Celtics have a few things to figure out, and I hate to say it, but I think Celtics wind up with the 7th seed.
7th seed. That's a good one. I think the 7th seed, honestly, I don't think I said them yet. I think Hawks.
Yeah.
Hawks 7th seed.
Yeah.
Obviously Trae Young. Definitely, like I said, All-Star. Like I said, that team is young, but definitely revolving around him. And like I said, and just having a young team, and then like I said, Dyson Daniels and some other key players. I think they have Porzingis too.
Yeah.
They have Porzingis, so that definitely helps them out on the pick and roll. Definitely defense. Also another big who can shoot. And like I said, and just being a definitely a big role in that team. So I got them at number 7.
7. But
Yep.
now we're on to number 6 from number 7, and I got the Magic. I think the Magic, they're just getting better. They have some great players, and yeah, they're a good young team, and I think they get the 6th seed here, and yeah, you saw they played the Celtics. Yes, the Celtics did beat them in the playoffs last year. I believe that series was like 4-1 or 4-0. Can't remember off the top of my head, but regardless, in each of those games, the Magic played the Celtics tough and right to the end for most of them as well. So this Magic team is just getting better, and I think we're looking at the 6th seed for the Magic this year. Kevin.
I have the Celtics here. I think they start the year off, obviously, without Jason Tatum. I think they started off very slow. They struggle. They find, they have trouble scoring in the beginning of the season. But I do think they get the 6th seed because I think they get really hot towards the end of the year and they pick up the pace. And with Jason Tatum back and towards the end of the season, I think they just steal that spot. And I think Peyton Pritchard has a really big year stepping up and being obviously the starting guard for the Celtics. And then obviously Jaylen Brown is going to have to step in for being the number 1 guy.
I 6 right?
Yeah.
6. I don't think I said. Did I say Hornet?
Hornets? Yeah, you said them.
I said Hornets a while ago. Okay.
Yeah.
So the 6th seed. Honestly, I'll put Magic at the 6th seed. I'll put him. I like Paolo. I'm big. I'll definitely Paolo. Definitely a star in our league. And like I said, he's gonna definitely keep developing as a player. Franz Wagner, I like him. Jalen Suggs, key role players, and they're all young. And Wendell Carter Jr. I think he's still
Anthony
on.
Black.
Anthony Black, yeah.
As well.
Him. I think Jonathan Isaac. Like I said, young group. And like I said, one thing I saw about the Orlando Magic, they play team basketball. It's not shellfish. They pass the ball. They get to open spots. And that's what it's all about. So I definitely like what I'm seeing from them. So I'm going to have Magic.
Yeah, so now on to that 5th seed, and team I'll be talking about similar like how the Magic are getting better. We got the Hawks, and yeah, this Hawks team may be underrated because they got Trae Young, they got, getting his name right now, the guy that got 1st overall. I think he's going to have a better season They got him first overall a couple of years ago now. He's gonna have a better season, and they just also have a solid team that I think they are built to win. They do make the playoffs and play in every year, and especially with the East being this week, I think the Hawks could go on a run. But yeah, I see them making the playoffs and getting that 5th seed.
I have the Pistons at my 5th seed. Made the playoffs a year ago, faced the Knicks in the first round. Obviously, they lost to my Knicks, but Pistons, Cade Cunningham, I think he has an all-star year. I really like Cade Cunningham. What a player he has developed into. And Cade Cunningham, another player to watch out for, Malik Beasley. Great three-point shooter and really good just overall. I think those two are going to have a great year again. So, yeah, I think the Pistons take the 5th seed.
At my 5th, I don't think I said rap.
You did say
I did say Raptors. Okay, so my 5th seed. Okay, well, honestly, I'll put Pistons there. Like Kevin, like I said, Cade Cunningham has definitely shown what he can do on the court. Like I said, defensive, big guard. So like I said, has a little size. Not a lot of guards are big, so definitely size advantage. I like Jalen Duren. I don't know if y'all from Pistons, but I do like him. Athletic, big. Like I said, good on pick and roll. Him, like I said, Malik Beasley, like Kevin said. So I think Pistons, honestly, they're gonna be a team to watch out for. Like I said, a lot of young guys, and like I said, they're hungry. So I feel like I said, they're gonna go after it. They're gonna go after it this season. I think so. Yeah,
sure.
Pistons. Yeah.
Yeah, but now we're on to the 4th seed, and Kevin is not going to like this. A lot of people back in New York are not going to like this, but I got the Knicks getting the 4th seed. A lot of people probably think they'll get a higher seed, but I just think, the Knicks are going to have a solid seed, probably around 50 wins, but at the same time, I feel like there's going to be some better teams this year, and there are better teams in the East, and I think the Knicks get that 4th seed. Of course, they have a well-rounded team of Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, Mitchell Robinson, boy defense more so in the center. They have Archua. I'm just trying to name all the players right now, but regardless, they just have a well-rounded team, and they do have the chemistry to win games. However, I feel like that may be more effective in the playoffs, and I do think that there's going to be other hot teams as well, and the Knicks do wind up at the 4th seed.
At my 4th seed, I have the Heat. I really liked how Tyler Hero played last year. He played like an all-star. He won the 3-point contest. That just shows like his shooting that had developed over the years. So I think him and Bam Adebayo, I think they carry the squad, but I think the Heat are going to make a big trade in the middle of the season, and I think that makes them the 4th seed. I don't know who it is, but I have a feeling the Heat are going to be a team to watch out for to make some big trade.
The 4th seed.
4th seed. Okay, I'm sorry. 4th seed. Right now, 4th seed. I don't. Listen, what teams have we talked about? I'm trying to think of for my 4th seed, because my top 3 already. The 4th seed is like.
I don't think you said the Celtics.
You have not said the Celtics. Yeah.
I have not.
Oh, you could keep that going.
That's my actually they're part of my top 3. But I'm gonna say I think I don't know if I talk. I definitely. I think I'm gonna put. Definitely not talk my 3rd seed. I'm trying to think. There's so many teams.
I don't know if you
The
said
Bucks.
Did I say? Did I say Bucks? No, I
No,
did.
you did not say.
I didn't say Bucks.
No, you did.
Oh yeah, you did.
You said they're like a playing team.
Playing team.
Yeah.
So then,
yeah.
I'm trying to see. I definitely talked about Wash. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Who did you have?
It says 76ers. We got the Hawks, the Magic.
Said Magic.
I don't know if you said the Bulls.
Yeah.
The Bulls.
Yeah.
I didn't want them there, but we gonna. I could.
Yeah, just throw the Bulls in there.
Because we could throw the Bulls in there.
Yeah.
I think I did say, but like I said, we'll see. Definitely, like I said, he's a young team. So, if they come in with the right mindset, like I said, and come hungry to win, maybe they make something happen.
Yeah, but let's move on to our 3 seed now, and I got the Milwaukee Bucks. Yes, they're kind of underrated right now, but they still got a solid team. They still, to be honest, yes, the trade rumors are going on, but it's still Giannis, it's still the Bucks, and especially in this weak East, the Bucks are gonna be a phenomenal. They're gonna be up there. They even last year they had a rough year, but they were still the 4 seed. They're gonna be a top team, and I got them as the 3 seed. They're still a great team overall. And Doc Rivers, as their coach, he's a phenomenal coach as well. It's hard to see this Bucks team, especially in this East, not being in the top 3.
Yeah, my 3 seed, I have the Milwaukee Bucks as well. I like the addition of Miles Turner in the offseason. I think him and Giannis, 2 big centers. I think he'll probably play in the on the bench, but he's gonna bring great bench play. So they don't really have a guard, and that's my biggest concern. They don't have that guard, that number 1. But they did bring in Kyle Kuzma, decent player. Also have Kevin Porter Jr. So they do have some decent players. I think the Milwaukee Bucks are definitely going to get carried by Giannis, who I think has an MVP caliber here. I don't think he's going to win the MVP, but I think he has an MVP caliber here.
Well, I know Ben is going to probably like this, but at my 3rd seed, I actually got the Celtics.
Yeah.
I think, obviously, with Jason being out rotating, he's definitely going to be probably out majority of the season. So, like I said, that's the leader of the team. Jason Tatum, like I said, an all-star NBA Finals champion, and didn't win MVP, but was second runner to MVP behind Jaylen Brown. But honestly, the Celtics still are a dynamic team, in my opinion. Jaylen Brown, Finals MVP 2 years ago, still a dominant player, defense, offense. And Celtics play team basketball. They got chemistry. They did lose Kristaps Porzingis, but like I said, they still have, if I'm not, Derek White, shooter, knockdown shooter. Peyton Pritchard, I really like him. Like I said, a shooter. Like I said, a guys that they can open to that are they'll make it right in. And like I said, they play team basketball. So one thing about Celtics is chemistry, team basketball that will get them far. Like I said, they're in that's why they're in my 3rd spot.
Yeah. So, let's move on to the 2nd spot now. And I got the Cavs. Yeah, the Cavaliers. They're still a phenomenal team. 1 seed a year ago. And they're gonna be a tough team to beat this year. And I think they're gonna, yes, I know they had the rough playoffs against the Pacers, but they were kind of injured in some of those games, and I just think the Cavs are going to be able to rebound, and I think they get the 2 seed this year.
At my 2 seed, I have my Knicks. Obviously, we brought in some good players in the offseason, Jordan Clarkson, but then we have some of our players who have stayed, and we signed Miles Bridges, we have OG, we have Josh Hart, Brunson, Cat. So we're definitely loaded as a team, but can we put a full season together? And we got a new coach, so I think we're going to have a great year. And we take the 2 seed.
Well, at my 2nd, I'm going to go like Ben. I'm going Cavaliers. Definitely was a shocker last season when they had the best record in the East. They had 64 wins and 18 losses, right?
Yeah.
And they couldn't get past the Pacers, which I was really shocked by. Because that says something about when teams are in the playoffs. It doesn't matter what seed you're in. If you're hungry as a team and this is the goal, that this is what you want, you're going to put your heart, you're going to put your time, you're going to put everything into the playoffs. You know what I mean? So my thing is, like I said, Cavaliers had the best record. Definitely was a shock last season, losing to the Pacers. But Donovan Mitchell, still heck of a player. Averaging 20-something points a game. Still the team leader. Darius Garland is another one. Like I said, very shifty. handles, has a shot, can play make. And just looking at everything else, like they got Jared Allen. I know as a Nets fan, I kind of hate that he left because one thing about Jared Allen, he plays defense, block shots, so he's gonna be in that middle and he's gonna, like I said, take any chance he can. And looking at everybody else, Max Strus, like I said, another shooter, role guy, and like I said, just a team that has chemistry and knows how to win. So Cavaliers, my second.
And now we are on to the 1 seed, and this may shock you, but I think this team's gonna have a phenomenal year. They just have upside, and I think this team's just getting better and better. Very great young team. I think the Pistons take that 1 seed. Cade Cunningham just getting better. Of course, they have Durant, just a solid young team, and yeah, bunch of great players. I'm excited to see what happens with this Piston team, but I think they're gonna get some wins this year. Yeah, they've had a bunch of high picks, gotten a lot of great players, and I think that has paid off. You saw that a little bit last year. They got eliminated in the first round, but they made it the playoffs. But I think this team is really gonna take a jump to the next level this year, just like the Cavs did last year. And yeah, I'm excited to see what's gonna happen with this team regardless. But I think the Pistons, the surprise team this year, is the 1 seed.
At my 1 seed, I have the Cavs. Jonas already mentioned some of their key players, but I like Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, Garland. So they definitely have some great players. Max Strus. It's just, can they stay healthy, and can they continue to just win? And that's what I think they do this upcoming year. And a notable thing is they don't lose at home. It's really hard to beat the Cavs at home. So I think they really have a great year. And they pick up from where they left off. I mean, from like the middle of the season, because they fell off towards the end because they were banged up. But yeah, I think the Cavs are gonna take the 1 seed this year in the East.
Well, I'm on number 1. I might have to do a little chant. Go New York, go! Because I got the Knicks.
Okay.
There's not a lot to say. Honestly, Jalen Brunson, King of New York, but like I said, guy shoot, handle, assist, and is a team leader. You have Josh Hart, good role players. Mikal Bridges, like I said, he was on the Nets before. Mikal Bridges, knockdown shooter. Like I said, plays defense, has size. And like I said, and Mitchell Robinson, another guy in the paint. Like I said, playing defense. And like I said, a bunch of role players that I can see the Knicks being taken at one spot. They have everything. And not to forget, Karl-Anthony Towns. Let's not forget another big man who could shoot. So I got to say the Knicks is at my number 1.
Yeah, so that's the East. We're now on to the West.
Let's go.
So let's for the bottom, like first 5 teams, we're gonna make it. Let's just say the teams. You can say like a sentence or 2 about them, just to speed things up a bit. But at the 15th seed in the West, I got the Jazz. Jazz, they got a long way to go.
Yeah, my 15th seed, I also have the Jazz. I think they're going to be horrendous. The only players I really like is Ace Bailey and Lauri Markkanen, and besides that, this team is horrendous.
Yeah.
Same thing. I gotta say Jazz. Obviously, the preseason, Ace Bailey, definitely showed signs. Everybody was definitely questionable because honestly, everybody knows this. He did not want to go to the Jazz, and he was kind of throwing a fit. But like I said, had 25 points this week against the Rockets, versus KD. I know that's his role model, but like I said, out of Ace Bailey, Lauri Markkanen, I don't know where the Jazz is. I gotta say, like I said, still a young team, still has to rebuild. So I'm gonna put them at number 15.
Yeah, so on to number 14, I got the Pelicans. They just got a while. But I don't know what to expect from this Pelicans team. They had a rough year last year, and I think that continues.
At my 14th seed, I have the Blazers. I know Damian Lillard came over to the Blazers just to come back to where he started his career off. We don't know his health and his status for this year, so I think he's probably going to miss out, maybe the entire season, if not almost all of it. But yeah, besides that, I like Shaedon Sharpe. I think he's getting better and better every year. But yeah, 14 seed is the Blazers.
Have to agree with Kevin. It is Blazers for me too. Obviously, it's definitely great for Blazers fans. I know Damian is back. But Damian, like I said, he's kind of, I'm not saying he's out of his prime, but he's getting close to that almost like retirement. You know, I think him coming back to the Trailblazers was definitely, that's like a second home to him. He was there since he got drafted. His kids is like I said, they grew up there, and like I said, the fans are very loyal to him, which is great. But like I said, outside of him, I like Shaedon Sharpe, like Kevin said. But honestly, I don't see anybody else. Scoot Henderson was definitely somebody that in the upcoming, in this draft class, somebody you could definitely watch out for. But I haven't really heard nothing really has him sparked. I do like they got Drew Holiday, defensive player. But like I said, I think it's still got a lot of work to do. So I'm going to put them at number 14.
All right, so now on to number 13, Kings. Yeah, the Kings without Fox. It's going to be a rough road. Kings got to figure it out. Yeah, they were leading them in the play-in last year, and they do have some solid players still, but losing Fox is a key big thing here, and I just think the Kings lined up with the 13th seed.
Yeah, for my 13th seed, I have the Pelicans. I like Jordan Poole coming over to New Orleans and playing for the Pelicans. I think he's going to bring a great guard position for them. And then obviously Zion losing some weight in the offseason, looks in shape. Can he stay healthy though? Is probably not. But yeah, Pelicans in the 13th seed.
13th seed, like Ben said, I'm going to have to go with Kings. De'Aaron Fox. Leaving him, he's been there since he got drafted. Definitely kept his mark there. But I don't see nothing else with this team. Malik Monk, Zach LaVine is definitely, I like him. But like I said, still got a lot more to do. So I'll put them at number 14.
All right, so now on to number 12. And
that was 13. Oh, yeah, my fault.
And I got the Trailblazers here. Yeah, Lillard back. Trailblazers fans, I'm sure they're happy about that. But yeah, like what they were saying, Damian Lillard kind of passed his prime, and I don't really think that this Trailblazers team don't really have anyone else good. I think I could put the Trailblazers up to that 12th seed, probably make them that better. Like if without Lillard, maybe they'd be 13 or 14. But I don't. It's gonna be a rough year still for the Trailblazers. I got them finishing as a 12th spot.
Yeah, my 12th seed, I have the Kings. I do really like some of their players. I like Zach LaVine. I like Sabonis. I like Malik Monk. Who else? DeMar DeRozan. They have some great players, but I don't think they stay healthy this year. I think they get banged up, and I think they're gonna miss some players. I think some of their players will be out with season-ending injuries. I just have that feeling. Kings have my 12th seed.
At my 12th, honestly, I think this is gonna be a really shock to everybody. But at my 12th, I got the Grizzlies.
Okay.
Obviously, young team, Ja Morant. In the last couple years, I feel like Ja Morant last season, he did all right. He definitely went down. I feel like, a lot of other problems with him on that. Jaren Jackson Jr., I like him. But I don't know, just the rest of the team, I don't know. They definitely, like I say, young guys, mainly, they got to stay healthy. And like I said, can they build chemistry? And, so that's why they have my 12th seed. Yeah.
Yeah, now on to the 11th spot. I got the Grizzlies. Yeah, that just shows you how much the West is loaded. There's just too many great teams from this point on. And the Grizzlies, I think, they've had a rough go of it the last 2 years. I think they're going to be the unlucky team that is not able to make it into the play-in.
My 11th seed, I have the Phoenix Suns. Obviously, losing Kevin Durant. When you lose KD, that's like losing your best player. But they still have Devin Booker. I do like Jalen Green, but he's not the same as Kevin Durant. I don't think they're going to be that good this year. I think they'll get some wins, but Suns at my 11th seed.
I think this is also going to be a shock to some people too at my 11th. But I actually at my 11th, I got the Rockets. Obviously getting KD definitely big on that. But like I said, at the end of the day, KD is getting to his, like close to not retirement, but he is like kind of close to it. Like I said, they have a young team. Fred VanVleet, I think, is out for the season, so that definitely takes a toll because he's definitely a key player in that squad. Obviously, I like Amen Thompson. He's pretty good, but like I said, still a young team. Main thing is stay healthy, and like I said, they still got to build. So I'm gonna put them at my 11.
On to the 10.
Alright, so yeah. Now the 10th seed, I got the Clippers. Clippers, they actually got a high seed last year in the playoffs, but I just think this team's getting too old, and we're gonna see that this year. I think there's just too many better teams in the West right now. Clippers get the 10th seed.
Yeah, my 10th seed, I'm going to take the Grizzlies. I really like Jaren Jackson Jr., Ja Morant, the rookie from a year ago, Jalen Wells and Zach Edey, two really good rookies from a year ago. And the Grizzlies had a really good year last year. They just fell off a cliff in that second half towards like the trading part of the season. They really, at one point, they were like the first seed, the Grizzlies, but yeah, the Grizzlies are my 10th seed.
At my 10th, I have the Pelicans. Zion definitely great in shape. I definitely like I said, he's definitely, when he's healthy, definitely a key part in that squad. Obviously, like I said, strength, defense, got a little shooting. But honestly, them getting Jordan Poole, great addition. Like I say, could shoot, pass, him, DeJounte Murray, can't forget him, another good role player. Like I said, DeJounte scored. Him. And I also like them picking up Kevon Looney. He's been with the Warriors ever since he got drafted. But one thing I think people don't understand about Kevon Looney is he's a defensive player. That's his main goal. So, like I said, in the paint, he's going to block shots. He's going to rebound. And you definitely need that to win games. So I like to pick up in that. And like I said, they just got a young core. And some of the guys I really see that they have potential. So I got the Pelicans at number 10.
Yeah, so now let's move on to the number 9, and I don't think Jonas is gonna like this. And this team does have potential. I think they could be very good, especially the following year, but this year there's just too many question marks coming in. I got the Mavs at the 9 seed, and yeah, it's just yeah, I just think they got really lucky because they lose Luka. They make the worst trade in NBA history, maybe in one of the worst ones in sports history, and they just get lucky and get that first pick somehow because they make they don't make it through the play-in, and I think they get that 9 seed, but they're gonna wind up. I'll just spoil it. They are gonna wind up making the playoffs, but this Mavs team is gonna. They gotta figure it out, and I think they're gonna be a solid team when it comes to the 2026-27 season. But they need a little more time. Cooper Flag to the rookie year, and it's gonna take him some time to develop.
My 9th seed, I have the Rockets. Obviously bringing in KD in the off season. I like Amen Thompson, but they lost Fred VanVleet. Just sucks for them. He's out for the year. And I think they're going to struggle, but I think they're just going to hang in there. Like, they're just going to be one of those teams that's going to be on and off. And I think Katie puts them into play, but that's pretty much it.
For my 9th, I have the Spurs.
Really?
Yeah. Obviously, them picking up Dylan Harper as a rookie was definitely great. Guy definitely had to see as a rookie, will he be the same as he was in college, as dynamic? Like I said, but he could shoot, play defense. But you can't forget they got Wemby. They got the closest, probably one of the tallest NBA players of all time. And not just because it's hype, but actually Wemby is a skill big. Can dribble, can shoot, can pass. Like he's like a demigod. Can't forget him. And they did add De'Aaron Fox. So I feel like that's great. Like I said, pick and roll. Like I said, another guy who can shoot, make plays happen. And honestly, they, like I said, got a lot of veterans on the team, and like I said, young players. So I'm gonna say I gotta put them at my number 9.
Yeah, so now on to number 8, I got the Phoenix Suns, and honestly, I think Durant leaving, that's just gonna help the Suns. The Suns still have a very good group of players, good team. Of course, they got Green in the Durant trade, and this team's not going to sleep yet. They still have Booker. I think they're gonna be a team that are going to be fighting to get into the playoffs this year, and a team to look out for in future years as well still. So I have the Suns at 8.
Yeah, at my 8th seed, I have the Spurs. Stephen Castle winning a Rookie of the Year a year ago. Wemby, Dylan Harper, Fox coming over from the Kings. So they have a lot of good players. It's just they are very, very young as a team, very inexperienced, and I think they get into playing this year.
At my 8th seed, I think a lot of people are gonna be shocked by this. And I think you guys are. But at my 8th seed, I'm gonna put the Warriors.
Oh, okay.
The Warriors, obviously, Stephen Curry, the best 3-point shooter ever. Definitely him. He's gonna keep on pace. The Warriors team, I'm looking at, they lost, obviously last season they lost Klay Thompson, who's been a Warrior for most of his career. Went to the Mavericks, so that definitely was a big piece. Obviously the season was a lot of things all season with the Jonathan Kuminga thing. Seeing how he's gonna be once the season starts. He's definitely a big role, defensive wise, offense. Draymond Green, obviously defensive player, one of the best defensive players we've probably seen all time. Draymond Green. But honestly, like I said, still a young team. But like I said, with the veterans the Warriors have, could definitely bring this team to at least, like I said, play in playoffs. So I'm going to say the Warriors. Number 8.
Yeah, so now moving on to the 7th seed, I have the Rockets falling from the 2 seed to the 7th seed. Yeah, they're a good young team, but I do feel like there's just missing too many parts right now. They lost in the Durant trade, and I don't know what to expect from this Rockets squad. If anything, I think Durant is going to make his team worse at his age, but I do think they're still going to compete and do a great job this season getting the 7th seed. But yeah, the West is just phenomenal. So I have the Rockets at 7.
At my 7th seed, I have the Clippers. Obviously, they still have James Harden and Kawhi, but I don't think they're going to be the great team, but I think they are just going to just win, and that's something they did last year. They just win, and when people doubt them that they're going to lose, they win. And I think that's because Kawhi's on this team. If he can stay healthy, he's obviously probably one of the best defensive players in the league, and I think they get the 7th seed.
At my 7th seed, I got the Nuggets. Jokic, one of the best big men we have ever seen. Guy can do literally anything, be a point guard. 7th seed. 7th seed. Pass, shoot, play defense. Jamal Murray, another key player. When healthy, Jamal Murray is a problem. And like I said, a lot of good role players here. Still a lot of young players. They did get Cameron Johnson from the Nets, which I do like because he's that guy that they can kick it to the wing and get a shot, 3-point shot anytime. And like I said, they have some veterans. Jonas Valanciunas, like I said, defensive player, big man, definitely get rebounds. Tim Hardaway Jr., which I got to meet last month, which was really cool. Like I said, veteran, 3-point shooter. And like I said, got a lot of young guys. I see this team going really well in the playoffs. I got them at my number 7.
7, yeah. But next up at number 6, I have the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors are still a solid team. Jimmy Butler, Stephon Curry, they still have Green. This is still a pretty good team. And I don't know how what to expect from this Warriors team. They could either play phenomenal or have a tough season with injuries, or a lot could happen. But I think this Warriors team is going to find a way to get in the playoffs and get a good seed here. I got them at the 6th seed and possibly for a playoff one as well. But yeah, I'm excited to see what happens with this Warriors team. Yeah, this Warriors team has potential. Of course, Jimmy Butler, great when it comes to the playoffs. Steph Curry, that's just a great duo. And yeah, just Warriors, got to keep an eye on them. They may be a sneaky team when it comes to playoff time.
Yeah, my 6th seed, I have the T-Wolves. Obviously, they have Anthony Edwards, who was the best 3-point shooter last season. So, Anthony Edwards is getting better every year. And he could be an MVP. MVP lookout this upcoming year. I mean, Anthony Edwards just carries his team year in and year out in the playoffs. And they didn't really make any moves in the offseason. They didn't lose any players. So, they're basically the same team we saw from the last year. So, and they made some pretty good runs. So let's put the T-Wolves at my 6th spot.
Going with Kevin, great. Timberwolves is at my 6th. Anthony Edwards. Honestly, I did watch something that this offseason he has been working on his game a lot for this team to work. He's been definitely working on his post work with watching Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. So Anthony Edwards, we already know what he can do. Obviously shooting-wise, defense-wise, hustling. But like I said, he's working on that post work all season, and they say he has been at the Timberwolves gym and has been in the lab, which is a great sign for Timberwolves fans because as a leader, that's how a leader conducts themselves. So definitely Anthony Edwards. I like Naz Reid, another guy so underrated. Naz Reid, defensive. He's also from Jersey, so I gotta represent him anyway. Naz Reid, but guy who can play defense, get shots when you need him, pass, assist, and get rebounds. Him and Rudy, and honestly, Julius Randle, another guy, defense, rebounds, and like I said, Rudy Gobert, another guy, like I said, who's gonna play defense and has size. And the rest of the team, they got a lot of guys who are shifty, who can get quick shots. So I got the Timberwolves at my number 6.
All right. As we now move to number 5, and I got your Los Angeles Lakers. Of course, Luka Doncic, LeBron's coming back again. Who knows how long he's going to be back? At least 1 year left, at least 2 at this point. Because, yeah, he's probably going to make his announcement at least a year in advance now, LeBron. But anyway, I think the Lakers, they're going to be up there, of course, with both LeBron and Luka. But at the same time, I think they'll be good, but I don't think they'll be good enough to get like a top 1 or 2 seed this year. And I think the Lakers wind up with that 5th seed.
At my 5th seed, I have the Mavericks. I think they have the best overall roster in the NBA. Like, from their bench to their starting 5, I mean, their team is loaded. So much depth. And when they get Kyrie back, if he plays, probably towards the end of the season, I think they could be a really, really good team. But I like Cooper Flag, obviously the best player coming out of the draft this year. And, yeah, they have a really, really good team. So I think they're a team to watch out. Still have Clay and obviously AD. But yeah, I think the Mavs are getting the 5th seed.
At my 5th seed, I have the Clippers.
Okay.
So honestly, I gotta give Kawhi Leonard. I think a lot of people have not really talked about him, but when Kawhi is healthy, you know what he can do. He's a defensive player. Remember, the guy has won Finals MVPs, won championships, so he knows how to win and he knows how to lead a team. Remember, he gave the Raptors their first ring. So Kawhi Leonard is definitely somebody to keep up with. Bradley Beal, getting Bradley Beal. You know, he's definitely has declined in the last couple seasons. But if anybody remembers when he was with the Washington Wizards, Bradley Beal is a guy who knows how to get to a shot and who also knows how to play make and can play defense too as a guard. You know, so a lot of them can't play defense. So one thing about Bradley Beal, he's definitely good at that. James Harden, you can't forget him. You know, definitely James Harden has definitely, I guess, went down the last couple of years. But when James Harden is healthy, You can't really stop him. 3-point shooter, can get to the rim, make plays, and I really do like, and like I said, the size on the Mavericks. They got Zubac and they have Brook Lopez, 2 guys 7 foot, get rebounds, and like I said, it has an overall young team. And got Chris Paul, so you got some veteran experience. So for the rookies, you got a good veteran. So yeah, got Clippers.
Now moving on to the 4 seed, I got the Minnesota Timberwolves. This Timberwolves team, they're young. They have their team is just a amazing core, great group of players, and you saw what they did in the playoffs last year. Unfortunately, they couldn't get by the Thunder, but this team is playing. It's just they're gonna have another great season this year. I got them at the 4th seed, but come playoff time, I think they go on a 1-2. Stay tuned for our playoff picks.
At my 4th seed, I have the LA Lakers. Obviously, they have Bron, Luka, Austin Reeves. Bringing in what's his name, Ayton, from I believe the Suns.
So they got Smart as well.
Yeah, so they brought in some players. I think they're just, the Lakers are just gonna find a way to win. And last year when they brought in Luka, that team was hard to beat. And then when they came in the playoffs, they fell off. But I think in the regular season they'll be a really good team.
At my 4th spot, I have the Suns. I actually have them at the 4th spot. I like how they got Jalen Green. As a player, like I said, Jalen Green, you know what he can do. Young guy, athletic, can shoot. Like I said, make plays. And obviously with Devin Booker, Devin Booker is probably one of the best shooting guards in the league right now. Devin Booker's been doing this for years, shooting, make plays, and is the leader of this team. You have guys like Royce O'Neal, another guy I like. He was on the Nets. Definitely a defensive player, can get to the rim whenever he wants to. And like I said, it has a really young core that I think they can really make something happen. So I'm going to say them at the 4th spot.
All right, but now moving on to the 3rd spot, I got the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets, a team that just champions 2 years ago, and this team's gonna be, of course, all in it for years to come. And I think Jokic and this team's gonna come into it hot. However, I don't think they're gonna be able to get above these top 2 teams here. The Nuggets are going to be a phenomenal team. They got Jokic, obviously. They got Murray. They got Bron, just a well-rounded team. And, so Nuggets always a team that are always in it. And, I have a lot of good players that I like as well. So, I got them in the 3rd seed.
My 3rd seed, I have the Warriors. I think with Curry and Butler starting the season off fresh and healthy, I think they have an amazing year. And with Pods and Kuminga, they have so many great players. And I think they put a season together. Great season for the Warriors upcoming year.
My 3rd spot, I'm going to take the Los Angeles Lakers. Obviously, LeBron, one of the greatest, if not one of the greatest of all time. Obviously, health right now is definitely looking in. He's going to be out for like 3 to 4 weeks, so that's definitely going to see how this Lakers team could definitely win games without him being on the floor. But like I said, they have Luka, one of the best, like I said, shooting guards in the game, can definitely shoot, pass, and make plays, and has gotten in shape. So honestly, if a Luka Doncic is in shape and can play defense, that's the biggest concern about Luka is his defense. Because he can, like I said, I know the Mavericks when he was on there, he had a very hard time of, going after the ball, so definitely that is a big issue right there. But outside of that, Lakers have a young team. Rui Hachimura, another guy, good role player, DeAndre Ayton, and then maybe Bronny. We'll see. Maybe Bronny will maybe he'll do well. So I'm gonna say Lakers.
Yeah.
3.
Now we're on to the number 2 seed. And this may surprise you guys and some people, but I got the Spurs. The Spurs are just a young team. Of course, they have Castle, they have Wembanyama, And then they have Fox in that spot as well. They have Cornette as well as a backup center. This team also very deep. This team is gonna be. They just got a lot of great young talent, and I think this team is gonna really have a jump this year. And I think they go off similar to how the Thunder went off a few years ago, and I think they get second seed here and maybe even over 60 wins. I think it's gonna be a phenomenal season for the Spurs, and they get the 2 seed.
My 2 seed has, you don't really got to think too much. It's going to be the Denver Nuggets. I mean, when you have Jokic, the Joker, man, he's going to give you triple-double every single day, basically. And I think the GM for the Nuggets and like them as an organization, they really took care of Jokic this year. They gave him a bench, which they didn't have last year. That's why they didn't have the season they had a few years ago when they won the NBA championship. So I think the Nuggets have a great year. They get the second seed. And
At my number 2, I'm sure this is not going to shock you. At my number 2, we going down to Texas. We going to Dallas, the Dallas Mavericks. Dallas, if we do a little recap. Last year when they traded Luka, that shocked. I'm not a Mavericks fan, but I'm a Kyrie Irving fan. So as a when Luka got traded to the Mavericks, no, not the Mavericks, the Lakers, it really was a shocking because he was the best player. You know, him and Kyrie building chemistry. The team was so well. They literally went to the finals the year before just for him to get traded to the Lakers. But the Mavericks did get Anthony Davis, which I think was really good on their behalf of getting him. And even, too, getting Klay Thompson. Shooter, we know what Klay can do. He still is doing it. And like I said, Anthony Davis, definitely defensive. But when you look at the Mavericks, when they're healthy, they are a really good team. Them getting D'Angelo Russell from the Nets, as a Nets fan, I was really mad because D'Angelo Russell is a good player. But one thing about him, when D'Lo was on the Nets before 2018, 2019, the guy, he could shoot, has good ball handling, can make plays. And right now, while Kyrie is out, I'm going to see how he's going to step into that role and be that point guard that I know people know he can be. Like I said, you got Derek Lively. Literally the Mavericks have the 3 towers. You got Anthony Davis, Derek Lively, and Daniel Gafford. I'm not sure if Daniel Gafford is injured right now, but when they're healthy, them 3 guys in the paint, nobody can guard that. And plus adding Cooper. Cooper is still a young guy, but can shoot, play defense. We know what Cooper can do. He did it in college at Duke. So, honestly, this Mavericks team has a lot of potential. The main thing is staying healthy and building chemistry, and they're doing that right now. And with Coop getting the right training, and we, like I said, getting the right development, I think this Mavericks team is going to do well off. Maybe not this season, go to the finals, but definitely next season.
Yeah, so you think that the Mavs are gonna get? You think they're gonna get a higher seed this year than they ever did with Luka? Because I believe, I think the highest seed they had with Luka was a 4 seed.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Yeah. You think the Mavs? How many wins do you think the Mavs got?
With this season and just total.
Yeah.
I would say the Mavs. I'll give them about. I would say maybe 50 something. 50 wins, maybe this season. We'll have to see.
Okay.
But like I said, when Kyrie comes back, though, y'all know what Uncle Drew can do. Shoot, dribble, make plays, and he has become into the leader. So, like I said, I got Mavericks at that number 2 spot.
Yeah, and now on to the number 1 spot, and I think I'm gonna be picking the trend here. I've got the Thunder. Yeah, the Thunder, defending champs. Obviously favored to be the 1 seed. And they're just coming back stronger than ever. Yes, they did sign players to long deals, which may affect them in the team in the next few years. But for now, this Thunder's team is stronger than ever, and they're a favorite, probably to win the championship right now. I think they take this 1 seed easily, getting probably around 64, 65 wins this year.
My 1 seed I also have OKC. I mean, J-Dub, Shea, Hartenstein, And they have so many great players, Wiggins, Aaron Wiggins. So they're definitely going to be a great team again. And I think Shea going to put up 30 points every night, basically. Another great year for Shea coming up.
And same here, Thunder's the team to beat. I think just outside of the whole NBA, you saw last season, Shea. Literally, Shea had one of the best seasons in NBA history. Finals MVP, Western Conference Finals MVP, All-Star, just a whole bunch. League MVP, got the cover 2K. Like, Shea has just been on a level status, and him bringing the championship to the Thunder, like when they had KD and Russ, like that puts him as one of the Thunder's all-time greatest players, in my opinion, because he literally led that team. But it wasn't just him. The Thunder played team basketball, and they all had chemistry. Like I said, it goes back to that chemistry. They all had chemistry. Chet Holmgren, young guy, but like I said, he knows how to win. And like I said, Jalen Williams, the other Jalen Williams, a whole bunch of key guys, Alex Caruso. So honestly, Thunder's the team to beat. Like I said, they're not going to stop now. They won this ring, and they're going to keep winning. They're going to keep winning. They want to strive for more, and that's what they're going to do. So Thunder at number 1.
All right, so
Now to our season player predictions.
yeah, so we're gonna be predicting next up our
Awards.
award predictions, and let's just get started off. Start off with Rookie of the Year. I got Cooper Flag. What about you?
I also have Cooper Flag. I think he's just gonna put up some good numbers this year. I mean, when a player that was in high school was playing against Team USA, that just shows the type of prospect he is. First year in the NBA, I think in college, he was probably the best defender in the entire country. And I think Cooper Flag is going to be an incredible player defensively and offensively. Cooper Flag is your 2025-2026 Rookie of the Year.
Same thing. I'm agreeing with everybody. Cooper Flag. Like I said, Duke was a heck of a player. Coming into the Mavericks, we looked at how he was in Summer League, and he did well. I think with him is just more development. You know, he already has the size, he has the skills, just has to develop. Because like I said, he is still a rookie, so he's still young. Still has to get experience, because it's one thing to play in college, but the NBA is a whole nother level. You're playing with the best of the best. And obviously now I was just seeing a video of him and Kai shooting up at the Mavericks training center. So, you know, he's getting taught by some of the best. And even the coaches too. Phil Handy's on the Mavericks. Definitely key role in the Lakers' success in the championship of 2020 and 2016. Phil Handy is going to have Cooper Flag in the lab. And I feel like you're going to see it on the court. So, yeah, Cooper Flag, Rookie of the Year.
All right. So next up, Sixth Man of the Year, and I'm going with the Celtics. Of course, getting that 7th seed. They have a lot of players that need to step up, and I think there's going to be a player on the bench that's going to step up, help the Celtics out a ton. He's a young player, phenomenal. He's been phenomenal in the G League. I'm going to say it. I'm going with Jordan Walsh, famous bald guy. And but seriously, I think he's a phenomenal player on the bench side. Like, we've seen some sparks from him when he's come into this game, and I think we're gonna see another Celtic winning 6th Man of the Year. I feel Jordan Walsh he does have a future maybe in the NBA, and I think we see it this year when we need a player like him to step up, down Tatum, and we lost multiple other players. We're gonna need him, and I think he really steps up to help us get that playoff spot until Tatum comes back for the playoffs. So yeah.
My 6th Man of the Year is Naz Reid. Great all-around player, could do it all. And yeah, 6th Man of the Year, Naz Reid.
Wow, 6th man. Off the bench. Honestly, I might have to agree with Kevin. Naz Reid. Like, I think a lot of people, like I said, is just an underrated player. But if you watch really Naz Reid coming off the bench, like I said, he knows how to score. He knows how to play defense, team basketball, and just an all-around player. So I gotta give it to Naz Reid too. Jersey breed, man.
Yep.
Yeah. So Now we will be talking about defensive player of the year, and I've got Victor Wembanyama. Yeah, I think he's gonna have a great year on the Spurs and he's gonna win that defensive player of the year award.
I also have Wemby. Wemby a year ago would have won Defensive Player of the Year if he didn't get that injury that took him out for the rest of the year. He led the league in blocks, and it wasn't even close. I'm pretty sure he was averaging like 4 or 5 blocks a game. That's like incredible. So Wemby, Defensive Player of the Year.
Honestly, I know y'all saying Wemby, but for me, I'm gonna go with the home team. I'm gonna pick Nicholas Claxton. Nick Claxton from the Nets. In previous years, Nicholas Claxton, when he came into the NBA, he was a defensive player. He's definitely went down a little bit, but Nicholas Claxton, like I said, when he's healthy, he's a defensive player. He, like I said, block shots. He's not afraid to take. Like I said, just play defense at a high level. So I'm gonna say Nicholas Claxton from the Nets.
All right, so now we're on to Coach of the Year, and I think it's gonna be the Pistons coach, J.B. Bitterstaff. And he's obviously coaching the Pistons to that 1 seed. I think that's going to basically give him that award. And I got Bitterstaff winning the Coach of the Year.
My Coach of the Year is going to be the OKC coach. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Mark Diagnot. I think that's his name. The OKC head coach. I think he's going to coach the Thunder. I mean, I don't even think he really needs a coach. If those players just went out there, I think they would do fine on their own. But I think he's going to get coach of the year just because I think the OKC Thunder are going to have an incredible year. 60-plus wins for the OKC Thunder. Yeah, coach of the year, OKC's head coach.
I'm going to give Coach of the Year. I'm really liking the Knicks coach. Is it Mike? Is it Tom Thibodeau? Is he still a coach?
No, he is fired.
No, so Mike Brown. I think it's Mike.
That's rings a bell,
Yeah, Mike Brown, I think. But like I said, Knicks, I had them on the top of the East. I just like their team and who they have around them. And last season they did well.
Yeah.
So if they can keep up the same momentum, even at a higher level, at the highest level, the sky's the limit for the Knicks, honestly. I think as a Knicks fan, you should be really proud. So I'm going with the Knicks. Knicks coach Mike Brown.
Alright, so now on to the MVP. And my prediction for the MVP, it shouldn't be no surprise here. I got SGA. I think he'll go back to back. I think Jokic, of course, always in the MVP conversation. I think it's going to be SGA who's going to take this one once again.
For me, it's going to be Nikola Jokic, the Joker. I think he's just going to put up insane stats this year. And as much as I want to pick SGA to go back to back, I feel like Jokic is going to put up unthinkable numbers, things that cannot be like discredited. And I think they're going to award him the MVP. It's going to be a close race though.
Honestly, my MVP would be between Jalen Brunson or Shea. But I'm really still following on that Knicks team, so I'm going to say Jalen Brunson. I think Jalen Brunson is a good role player. Not even a role, but just an all-around player. Like I said, can shoot, post-up game, assist, and just make plays. And like I said, be a team leader. And when, like I said, because every NBA player is not clutch, but when in the clutch situations, and as a Knicks fan, who would you want to have the ball is Jalen Brunson. So, I'm going to say Jalen Brunson MVP.
All right, well, in a second, we are going to be predicting our playoff brackets based on the seedings we did. But first, let's go. I was able to ask Charles Barkley who he thinks is going to win the NBA Finals, and let's see what he had to say.
Hey Charles, my name is Ben Silk, and as a big sports and NBA fan, I want to know who you think's going to win the NBA championship this year and why. Celtics.
I think this is going to be a fascinating NBA season. I got zero idea who's going to win the East. Zero. I mean, obviously, I think the Celtics are cooked without Tatum and Porzingis and Drew Holiday. The Pacers are cooked without Miles Turner and Halliburton. The Knicks and the Cavs are going to be favored. But let me say this, and it's a big damn if. If the Sixers could get healthy, if the Sixers could get healthy, they could win the East. As far as the West, OKC is a team to beat. But the Rockets, with the addition of Kevin Durant, they're going to be tough, man. The Nuggets got the best player in the world in the Joker. They went out and got him some help finally. So, but I would still pick OKC. So, man, it's going to be fascinating watching the basketball this year.
Okay, on to our playoff brackets. So we have the West here and the East here. I'm going to start off in the East, starting in the play-in. We have the 7th seed Magic versus the 8th seed 76ers. I think the 76ers will lose to the Magic, and the Magic will take the 7th seed to play the Knicks in the playoff bracket on this side. So then that would bring the Sixers up to this column, and then we have the Bulls versus the Hawks. The 9th seed versus the 10th seed. I'm going to say the Hawks beat the 9th seed, and they move on to play the 76ers for that last spot, and I think the 76ers will get that last spot in the playoffs. So with that, we have the 1 seed Cavaliers versus the 8 seed 76ers, where I have the Cavs beating the Sixers in 5 games, 4-1. Cavs move on. We have the Heat versus the Pistons, the 4th seed versus the 5th seed, and I think the Heat get upset by the 5th seed in a 6-game series where the Pistons win 4-2, so the Pistons move on. Then we have the 2nd seed, the Knicks, versus the 7th seed Magic, and I think the Knicks take care of them in 5 games, 4-1 series there. And then we have the Bucks versus the Celtics in a 7-game series where the Celtics upset the 3rd seed Bucks. That leaves us with 4 teams remaining in the East, where we have the Cavs taking on the Pistons. The Cavs will take care of them with little to no effort. Cavs in 5. And we have the Knicks versus the Celtics, where the Knicks get it done in 6 games. So that leaves us with the Cavs-Knicks Eastern Conference Finals, where the Knicks move on to the NBA Finals in a 6-game series where the Knicks beat them in 4 games. And then here on the West, we'll start in the play-in. We have the 7th seed Clippers versus the 8th seed Spurs. I think the Spurs will lose to the Clippers, and the Clippers will get that 7th seed, playing the Nuggets. And then the Rockets versus the Grizzlies for that to move on to play the loser of this game. So the Rockets will end up beating the Grizzlies, so that would leave us with the Spurs-Rockets for that last spot in the Western Conference, where I think the Spurs, the youngest team, one of the youngest teams in the NBA, they get a spot in the playoffs. So we have the OKC Thunder taking on the Spurs. I'm going to take the OKC Thunder in 5 games. I think the Spurs steal at least 1 game. So that brings the OKC Thunder moving on. Lakers, Mavericks in a revenge game for Luka. A revenge series for Luka. I think Luka gets it done in 6 games. Lakers move on. Nuggets, Clippers, and I think what's going to be a defensive battle. But the Nuggets take care of them. The Nuggets will move on in 5 games. And then we have the Warriors versus the T-Wolves in a 7-game series. I think the T-Wolves do it. Anthony Edwards always shows up for his team in the come playoff time. So that leaves us with the OKC Thunder and the LA Lakers. I think the OKC Thunder embarrass the Lakers. They're moving on to the Western Conference Finals. And then we have the Nuggets versus the T-Wolves. I think the Nuggets get revenge from Anthony Edwards a few years ago. I think it was maybe 2 years ago, where the Nuggets got beat by Anthony Edwards, and he gets his revenge. So we have an OKC Thunder and a Denver Nuggets Western Conference Finals, where the Nuggets will be moving on to the NBA Finals. And in our NBA Finals for the 2025-2026 season, I have the Denver Nuggets winning in 6 games. The Denver Nuggets are your 2025-2026 NBA champion.
Alright, so now on to my NBA playoff predictions. Let's get started off with the West in the play. And so we got the 9 seed Mavs taking on the 10 seed Clippers. This is going to be an exciting playing game. I think, the Mavs get that one. The 7-8 battle between the Suns and the Rockets, I think that goes to the Rockets. That puts the Rockets into the 7th spot as the Suns take on the Mavs. And I think the Mavs are going to eliminate the Suns, giving the Suns the 8th seed. Now we're on to the playoffs. We got the Mavs, the OKC Thunder. I think the Mavs, Kyrie, I think, could be back at this point. I think they're going to play the OKC Thunder tough. And I think they could possibly make this series a 7-game series, showing this Mavs team that is going to be possible this next upcoming year. But I do think the OKC Thunder are going to hold on and get it. But it takes them 7 games. We got the Timberwolves and the Lakers, a 4-5 matchup. Both these teams took on each other last year in the playoffs, and it was the Timberwolves that dominated. I think the Lakers are going to show up again like they did last year in the playoffs, exactly how they did against the Timberwolves. I think the Timberwolves continue cruising, winning the series 4-1. Now we got the we got the Spurs taking on the Rockets, and the Rockets, they're not. I don't think they're as hard as they were last year, but in the playoffs, regardless, I think it's going to be the Spurs who dominate this series, sweeping them 4-0 in our first sweep of this playoffs. And then I got the Nuggets and the Warriors. I think the Nuggets take that 1-5. Nuggets are just a better team than the Warriors. I think they can get by them. So now looking at the next round, we got the OKC Thunder taking on the Timberwolves. I think this is upset of the playoffs. The Timberwolves did play OKC a little tough in the Western Conference Championship a year ago, but I think it's going to be the Timberwolves who are going to be able to stop this OKC team and get by them to get to the Western Conference Championship the 2nd year in a row. And now down on the other side, 3rd year in a row. And then on the other side, we have the Spurs taking on the Nuggets. I think the Spurs one comes to an end here, as I think the Nuggets win this one in 6 games. 4-2 that series. So now we got the Timberwolves taking on the Nuggets in the Western Conference Championship. The Timberwolves are hot. So are the Nuggets. The Timberwolves are more hot. I think the Timberwolves cruise through this series, finally getting to the NBA championship, their first NBA championship to take on who team I'll predict in the East. I'll get to in a second. But yeah, this Timberwolves team has been close. They've been in the Western Conference Finals the last 2 years. And I think this is the year that they're going to make the jump to the championship. But now on to the East. We get started with the play-in. Of course, we got my Boston Celtics as the 17th. I think in the playoffs, however, Tatum will be back. That is going to help the Celtics squad tremendously as they take on the Heat here. I think that's an easy win for the Celtics. That puts the Celtics as the 7th seed. They'll take on the Cavs. Then we got the Bulls taking on the 76ers. I think that game will go to the Bulls. So now we got Bulls, Heat. I think the Bulls wind up taking it, the 9 seed over the 8 seed. The Bulls take it over the Heat. That gives the Bulls the 8 seed, but they're going to take on the Pistons. The Pistons, a team that have had a phenomenal season, and I think the Pistons continue that momentum into the playoffs. They'll sweep the Bulls, winning their series 4-0. And then we got the Knicks and the Hawks. The Hawks, a hot team, I think, as well. But I do think it's going to be the Knicks that are going to be able to get it done, winning this in 6. Hawks are going to make it tough, though. It's not going to be an easy series win for the Knicks. And then we got the Cavs. We got the Celtics. Cavs tend to struggle in the playoffs. Celtics, with Jason Tatum back, I think they're hot. They're gonna go, and they're going to easily take the series over the Cavs. It'll take them 6 games, but the Celtics able to get it done. Then we got the Bucks and the Magic. Another exciting series. However, I think the Bucks are the better team here. Bucks take it in 5 games. So now on to the next round. We got the Knicks. They take on the Pistons, a rematch. That was in the first round of the playoffs a year ago. However, the Pistons have improved a lot at this point, and I think the Pistons are going to get it done over these Knicks. It's going to take them 7 games. This is going to be a thriller of a series. But I think the Pistons do get it done, moving them to the Eastern Conference Finals. And I think the Bucks take on the Celtics. I think the Celtics continue walking and rolling, showing that they're still a great team. They move on to the Eastern Conference Finals. They take on the Pistons. And now we got the Eastern Conference Finals. However, Jason Tatum is back from injury, but at the same time, the Celtics aren't back to the spot that they used to be. I think they have been lucky throughout the playoffs, but I think the luck is going to end here with the Pistons. I think the Pistons are going to be able to beat the Celtics. So that means I got a Pistons-Timberwolves NBA Finals, and yeah, that would be a wild playoffs, but I could definitely see this happening, and I think it's gonna be, if this is the NBA Finals, like, this is gonna be a good NBA Finals. This may go to 7. That's exactly what I'm predicting. I think this goes to 7 games, and I think it's gonna be the Timberwolves. I've been saying for a while, I think the Timberwolves are a team that could win the NBA Finals one day, and you know what? I think they'll get it done this year, and they'll be the first 4 seed in a while to win the NBA Finals. My prediction, Timberwolves, and I think Anthony Edwards will win the MVP.
Okay, this is my 2025-2026 NBA playoffs prediction. So we're going to start off with the first round, which is another first round. We're going to start off, so I got coming in Thunder and Warriors coming from the play-in. So actually, no, let's start off with the play-in. I'm going to start off with Spurs and Pelicans. Pelicans are going to beat the Spurs in the play-in to go and win that. Then I've got the Nuggets and Warriors, which I got the Warriors winning that game. So they'll take the 8th seed in the first round, which they play the Thunder. And then the Nuggets will play the Pelicans to go for that 7th seed. And I got the Nuggets taking that 7th seed, winning a game against the Pelicans to secure it. So now we're going to go to the first round. So Thunder Warriors. I think this series is going to be really good if it happens. Obviously, I got Thunder going because they're the ones to beat, and they still have like I said, a bright future with Shea. Warriors obviously got Curry, but still need pieces. So I got them taking 4-2. That Thunder's moving on. Next, Suns and Clippers. Honestly, I think this game is going to be good teams, but I got to go with the veteran squad. Clippers, Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard just got a lot of veteran presence and young players. So Clippers going to beat the Suns to move on. Now we got the Mavericks and Nuggets. Yeah, you already know I got the Mavericks taking it all the way. Like I said, got a good team, got a good core. I think they could definitely beat this Nuggets team. So 4-2 to move on. And then Lakers and Timberwolves. That series, I feel like if this does happen, this is going to be a close series because both of the teams are very, 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 very skilled and good. But I do have the Lakers coming in there. LeBron, Luka. Like I said, Timberwolves got a lot. I think they're going to put a good fight. And they might even beat them. But for right now, I got the Lakers going. So, second round of the West. Thunder and Clippers. I got Thunder going. Like I said, they're the ones to beat. They're not stopping. They're going to keep the ball rolling. Second, I got Mavericks and Lakers. Now, if this does happen, this will be crazy because this is Luka's revenge or his playing against his old team. But then it's also Kyrie can show LeBron who's really the GOAT. I'm just saying. So I got Mavericks taking it. Gonna be a close series, 4-3. I got it. So I think they're gonna go good. Cooper, AD, they're gonna dominate, and the rest of the Mavericks. All right, now moving Mavericks and Thunder. Now 2 years ago, when Luka was on the Mavericks beat the Thunder. Now times has changed, but I still got faith. One thing about faith, when you have faith, you gotta keep it. So I got the Mavericks beating the Thunder. Only one up, 4-3. Like I said, it's gonna be a close series. I think the Mavericks are definitely gonna be the underdogs. Obviously, the series happens because the Thunder did win the championship. But like I said, they got the players, they got the young core, they got everything. The Mavericks, in my opinion, so I'm gonna take Mavericks over Thunder. And then I got Mavericks making it to the championship. Now, let's go on to the East, to the good old East. All right. So we're gonna start off with the play-in. Got Heat and Raptors. I actually have winning this one, the Raptors. I think they got a solid young core, and I think they can do a lot of damage in a good way. 76ers Bucks, next one. I actually have the 76ers winning, so they'll take that 7th seed, and obviously the Bucks will play the Raptors for the I think it's the 9th. I'm trying to think. They'll play for the 8th seed. So I do have the Bucks winning this one. I think it's just more experience. Giannis has already been in the finals, have won the finals, and like I said, he's gonna lead this team. He's gonna lead this core. So I'm gonna take the Bucks over the Raptors to take the 8th spot. Now let's get to the East first round. First, Knicks and Bucks. Gonna be, if this happens, great series. But honestly, I got the Knicks taking in this one 4-2. I think they're gonna come in strong. Like I said, they have the size, they have everything. So I'm gonna take the Knicks in that one to move on. Now we got Pistons and Magic. Another good one. Two young teams. I feel like that's the goal in this little series. It's just two young teams going at it. And like I said, I got Pistons taking this one 4-3. I think Magic is gonna give a fight. Because, like I said, one thing about it, the Magic, they're not going to give up. They're going to keep on going. And I feel like they're going to give the Pistons a run for their money. But I do have the Pistons winning. So I feel like that's going to happen. That's what's going to be. Okay. Now, next round, next game. Cavaliers and Sixers. That's going to be a good series. Like I said, Cavaliers are definitely got number one last year in standing. But I actually have the Sixers winning this, if healthy. Because Sixers really do have in depth. They got veterans. They got all-stars. They got a bunch, like I said, chemistry on the court, and they can get it done. But they got to stay healthy. So if the Sixers can stay healthy, I got them taking over the Cavs. And then the last series for the first round, I got Celtics and Hawks. Honestly, I think this will be a great series. I think for Hawks team, they're going to definitely look to be an experienced one. But I got these Celtics winning this. Even though they're not going to have Jason Tatum. Maybe he will be back. But Celtics, like I said, they know how to get it done. You got Jaylen Brown. You got team chemistry in that group. And they know how to win games. So I'm going to take Celtics in that 4-1 to move on to the second round. Now, semifinals, we got Knicks and Pistons. Like I said, Pistons are not going to stop. They want to make a statement. They want to make like I said, they're trying to become that team. But I do got the Knicks winning in this one. Like I say, you got Cat, Jalen Brunson. You got just Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart. You got a whole group of guys, Mitchell Robinson, people that know how to win and get the job done. That's what it's all about in the playoffs. So I got the Knicks beating the Pistons 4-2 to move on to the conference finals. Then it's Sixers and Celtics, a rivalry at its finest. You got, remember, going back to Dr. J and a whole bunch of other in that era. But I got the Sixers winning this. If they can stay healthy, I think, we don't know when Jason will come back. And like I said, Celtics definitely know how to win. But if Sixers can stay healthy, like that's the main thing. And because they know how to win games, if they can stay healthy, I think Tyrese will definitely go off in this series. Joel Embiid, obviously. And like I said, they're a group of guys. And like I said, this series is gonna go to war. I got them 4-3. That's gonna be a game 7 in that. I can guarantee that. So Sixers gonna move on to make it to the conference finals. Now, Knicks and Sixers. Now, this is kind of an interesting one. This has always been a rivalry. Christmas Day they usually play. But I got the Knicks being in this one. Because conference finals, this is where whoever's hungry more. And I feel like the Knicks are going to be hungry more. Remember, Sixers are definitely known to have injuries. So you never know what can happen in that series. A major player can get injured like Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey. You never know. And once that happens, we don't know what the Sixers will look like. So I got the Knicks going. Jalen Brunson's going to come in strong. Mikal Bridges, Karl Anthony Towns. Everybody's going to chip into that series. And that would take them to the NBA Finals, which leads to Mavericks and Knicks in the NBA Finals for the 2025-2026 season. And that, to be honest, it will be, I think it can happen. But I got your 2025-2026 NBA champions, the Dallas Mavericks. And like I said, I feel like they can definitely win this against the Knicks. Obviously, but when you look at the Mavs' depth, you got, when Kai comes back, Kyrie at point, shooting guard, Klay Thompson, small forward, you got Cooper Flag, if you wanted to put Cooper Flag in there. Then power forward. I'm telling you, the bigs on the Mavs is going to be what's going to help them to win. You got Anthony Davis, somebody who can shoot, play defense. Derek Lively, pick and roll, defense, lob it up, alley-oop, all of that, dunking. Then you got Daniel Gafford, big defensive presence, going to get rebounds, going to, like I said, the pick and roll is going to get up. And so that's why I really have the Mavericks winning, because they got everything around, and they got a good bench. They got a good, so I feel like a young core. So I feel like Mavericks are going to take it, young guys are going to win it. And I think the finals MVP will be none other from the Mavericks. Uncle Drew, a.k.a. my GOAT, Kyrie Irving. That's what I got.
All right, well, I want to thank everyone for tuning in today. Thank you if you stayed tuned in with us throughout this one. We appreciate it. I know it's a long one, but I'm Ben Silk.
I'm Kevin DeLay.
I'm Jonas Murray.
And we'll see you next time.